Hey everyone, today I want to do a breakdown of the SPY alert I sent out to our trading group this morning, and I want to go over how I found this trade, why I entered the trade, why I exited the trade, and then lastly how I could have traded this better. So first off, I only day trade SPY personally. I like to do that because I'd rather focus on one stock, get to know how it moves, instead of looking at all the stocks within the stock market. I think it's a lot easier to focus on one and master that instead of trying to learn them all. And then also, SPY has large liquidity, which makes it very easy to get in and out of trades, and you don't have to try to scramble around if volume is not high. So, if we come here to the 1 minute time frame of SPY, there are a few things on this chart that I'll go over that I like to watch when I'm day trading SPY. And the first thing is going to be what is called pivot levels. So you can see these different levels here on the market. What these are mathematically calculated from the previous day high, the previous day low, and the previous day close. And if you guys are wanting this formula, reach out to me down below in the comments and I can get this formula to you so you can get these charted on your charts as well. But what these typically show are areas of either support or resistance. And you can see here today, this is exactly where I took the trade, and this was a perfect resistance on the market. But how did I exactly know that this was going to be resistance? And that is where we come over here to the ticks. The ticks are probably the most important thing that I watch when I am day trading. Yes, the pivots are very helpful, but the main thing I am watching are the ticks because that tells me exactly where this stock market could potentially be moving. And if we can bring both of them together, the pivots and the ticks, it makes for a large conviction behind trades. So I'll go over why I entered this trade now. So we can see that SPY opened up kind of choppy, and then shot up to the pivot, kind of rejected it, broke past the pivot, and then broke past this midpoint right here, and then made its way higher right into this R1. Well, you could say, okay, well, how did you know that this was going to be a place where it could be resistance? Why didn't it just break through? And that's where I'm going to come over here to the ticks. And any time that we get an extreme reading on the ticks, which means over 1,000 or below that minus 1,000 down there, this means that typically the move has been exhausted and there really isn't any more room for it to go in that direction. So if we look at this candle here, we can see that this aligns perfectly with that reading of over 1,000, and it also aligns perfectly with that R1. This gave me a lot of conviction that, okay, this R1 already should be some sort of resistance on the market, and with that reading be over 1,000, that should be a place where, okay, this move will get exhausted, and that is exactly where I entered the trade. The trade then came down, and it retested this 1 minute 21 EMA. That is exactly where I got out of the trade and secured a 30% profit for the team. But looking back now, there are a few things I should have done differently. Yes, I should have scaled out some of my trade here, but I should have kept runners due to the fact that if we look at the ticks, I have this purple line, which is the 8 EMA, and then this light blue line, which is the 21 EMA. When you see one of these extreme readings, it is nice to get another conviction once these cross over back down to the downside, which is showing that, okay, this move can now continue more to that downside. And what I should have done is held on to one runner due to the fact that these lines never crossed over each other until way later on here, where I could have caught a lot more of this move instead of just catching a small portion of this move. So going forward for myself, I'm definitely going to be trying to be more strategic and hold on to runners longer. I think it's a lot of traders like to secure profits right away, but this is how you can make more money, is by holding on to these runners, because nothing about this trade had changed and it was still very valid to the downside. So if you guys are wanting any more information about how I day trade using the ticks, using pivot levels, please reach out down in the comments. Be more than willing to help. And I hope this all gives you a little bit better idea of how I could potentially day trade or how you could potentially day trade going forward as well. Have a great weekend, everyone, and I will see you Sunday for the weekly watch list.